Knowing to draw light and shadow is a crucial skill in illustration, and that's precisely what I'm going to show you today. I'm an amateur artist, and light and shadow is my favorite thing to draw. I've been working on this skill for years, and I'm going to show you everything I do, step by step, to shade my drawings. I don't know the scientific terms, so I'm going to use my own words. The shadow shape is the overall silhouette of the shadowed area, so the area that is not directly hit by light. I also call this one the main shadow. This type of shadow is often forgotten by beginners, but it's a very important shadow if you want your drawings to look more interesting. It adds volume and contrast, and it's quite easy to do. To draw the shadow shape, you can either copy the shadow shape of another drawing you like, or you can make your own. To make your own, you need to determine where your light source is coming from. Light goes in a straight line, so you need to find the elements in your drawings that are going to block the light. And that's how you make your own shadow shape. You can also imagine off-camera elements that are blocking the light, like this for example. It doesn't need to be realistic, it simply needs to look right. Something I like to do in a shadow shape is to take the airbrush and remove some darkness in areas that are close to the light. Some shadows are soft and some shadows are hard. Soft shadows are created by soft light, and they are more likely to happen on white surfaces like the neck, the cheeks, or the forehead. Hard shadows are created by hard light, like the sun for example, or by objects blocking the light close to the subject. Using both hard shadows and soft shadows helps with contrast and volume. I think these are called core shadows in the art world, but don't quote me on that. I would refer to them as additional shadows. Any shadow that isn't the shadow shape is an additional shadow. You will find them inside the shadow shape, but also in areas that are in the light. They appear where light is blocked partly or completely, like eyelids for example. The easiest way to paint them correctly is to use references. There are plenty of lighting materials on Pinterest, so I encourage you to use them. Light can reflect from a surface, like the floor or a wall, and it bounces back into the shadow. I like to simplify this one because I don't like to think too much when I draw. So inside the shadow shape, in areas that are a bit more circular, like arms, legs, breasts or waist, I erase some of the light with an airbrush in the opposite direction of the light. It's a bit hard to explain, so I hope you will understand with the video, but once you get it, it's very easy to do. Subsurface scattering happens when light travels through a translucent material and scatters beneath the surface, creating a soft glow. The most famous example is skin. A subtle way to use subsurface scattering is to paint a red glow on the skin where light meets shadow. Ambient light is the environment reflecting on your subject. To paint ambient light, you can incorporate some of the colors that are around your subject into your subject. I like to add some warm color into cold shadow and vice versa to create some kind of ambient light. A rim light is a light coming from behind your character, creating a contrast between your character and the background. It is often used in photography and it is super useful if your background is dark, but you can add a rim light with any type of background. A secondary light source is kind of like the rim light, but it can come from any direction, not necessarily from behind. It's usually colorful and it can be interesting to add some complementary color into your drawing to separate your subject from the background or to add some depth. Blending modes are the most useful tools to draw light and shadow. They can change the way colors interact with each other, which makes them perfect to add shadow and light easily. You can choose the blending mode of your layer in the layer settings. Here are some useful blending modes for shading. Overlay to create light or glow, multiply to create shadow, color dodge to create vibrant light or glow, screen for very bright lights. I always use multiply for the shadow shape. I usually use overlay for the ambient light, secondary light and subsurface scattering. I use color dodge for glow and sometimes as a secondary light. and I use green for the rim light. You can easily change the atmosphere of a drawing with blending modes. I can go from this to this in a few seconds only by changing the color of the shadow shape and adding an overlay layer over the light area. That's it for the video. I hope it was useful and that you learned something about light and shadow. Let me know if you have any suggestions for the next video, and see you next time.